So, alors Danik, ça va bro?
Ça va?
Bienvenue.
Merci.
Bienvenue dans Aftercuts Podcast. Donc, animé par, comme tu peux le voir, par Big James et Andy. On va pas se présenter nous. Ça fait super plaisir de te voir frérot. Euh, Quelqu'un que je regarde aux côtés de James depuis longtemps, depuis qu'il grind ici. C'est quelqu'un qui ne parle pas beaucoup de toi. Donc au début, je suis comme pourquoi il parle beaucoup de ce gars-là. Après, quand je t'ai rencontré, j'ai vu la personne que tu étais. Donc aujourd'hui, on est là pour découvrir who is Danik, man. Who is you, man.
Honestly, c'est un honneur d'être ici. Quand il m'a dit qu'il voulait que je sois sur le podcast, c'était immédiatement oui pour moi. James, je le connais depuis maintenant, ça fait 2 ans. Je l'ai rencontré en fait au gym. C'était le réceptionniste. Et
It might not look like it.
it's in the head. I remember going to the gym. This was post-COVID, around 2021, 2022. And I just remember I kept seeing this guy, at the front desk. And he was always talkative with the clients. And, I would judge him sometimes because he had a big ass McDonald's bag while everyone was working out around him. But I was like, hey, everyone there, to each their own. So I was leaving the gym at some point and I had long hair, like up to here, right?
Okay.
And I had,
You had the flick, là.
yeah, yeah. So I had my long hair, I had a beard. I was not really a beard. I wouldn't shave anything. And he just looked at me and he said, I see you often here. I'm like, yeah, I go here. And then he's like, well, if you want, I do haircuts. I cut hair. I'm like, oh, really? Well, give me your number, give me your Instagram, we'll get in contact. And that's how the friendship started, you know?
Yeah, and then I gave him his first haircut, and his life completely changed.
Yeah, my mom says, if it wasn't for James, you'd be somewhere else. But yeah,
Poverty.
yeah.
So, alors, Aftercut Podcast a été créé dans le but de faire venir des personnalités qu'on juge uniques, des personnes qui font des choses assez spéciaux, que ce soit pour leur âge, le niveau d'intellectuel, niveau d'intelligence, peu importe ce que tu fais dans la vie, de quelle façon est-ce que tu arrives à te démarquer. C'est un peu plus ça, Aftercut, c'est un peu plus ça le centre de notre sujet, Danik. Donc, Aftercuts, pour que les gens ne le savent pas, voilà, ça vient de lui, Aftercuts. Donc, est-ce que tu peux nous expliquer vite fait, comment est-ce que tu te rappelles la conversation qu'on se parlait de Aftercuts ce jour-là? Est-ce que tu te rappelles?
Je me rappelle, on était ici. Il y avait un meeting avec tout le monde de New Wave. Et Parouze avait bring up l'idée d'un podcast. Et là, tout le monde parlait de ses idées. Puis quand on est arrivé au sujet du nom, dans ma tête, dès que vous avez commencé à parler du podcast, ça allait cliquer pour moi Aftercuts. Je sais pas si c'était catchy. Tu sais, ça rime, c'est bien, c'est petit,
Yeah.
mais tu te rappelles de Aftercuts.
Yeah.
Ça fait du sens pour vous parce que, tu sais, après la coupe, Aftercuts. Tu comprends ça si tu parles français ou anglais. Donc, je sais pas, pour de vrai, c'est juste venu à ma tête comme ça, la créativité. Et cette journée-là était là et j'ai dit ce mot-là et tout le monde, ils ont aimé. Fait que c'est
Ok.
comme ça que vraiment, il n'y avait pas vraiment de pensée, c'était juste vraiment dans le moment comme
Juste
ça
dans
que
le
c'est
déclic,
venu.
genre, t'as
Ouais,
décliqué
ouais.
ça live. Et
Ouais.
pour être honnête avec toi, quand c'est venu à la vie, James peut le confirmer, donc on n'a pas tellement pris ça comme au sérieux, on va dire.
Hmm.
Après, tu sais, nous-mêmes, on a déjà essayé de faire un podcast ici avant, avec un vidéographe qui n'a vraiment pas marché à tous les niveaux.
Ok, ok.
Le pire, c'est que les sujets de conversation, c'était tellement nice que, arrivé un moment, après l'editing du podcast, quand on a regardé l'edit, c'est comme, il est où l'edit? Donc, pas de stress. Ça, on a oublié cet épisode-là, mais c'est ça qui nous a fait un peu comme, le hype, il a descendu direct. Mais après ça, tu sais, on a grandi, on a évolué, on évolue toujours. James, il est passé d'un gros bébé à un grand homme. Mais c'est ça, l'évolution de James, la façon dont il fait les choses, son charisme de parler. I think one day he will wake up and say, wow, I think now I realize my potential.
Et je l'ai vu,
He has the guts to be in a podcast.
Ouais, ouais.
Il a vraiment quelque chose de spécial,
Mm.
mais ça prend lui pour le réveiller un jour et dire, ah, je suis spécial, c'est vrai. Mais il est spécial. Un spécial de la bonne façon, là, ok? Donc après ça, ça a continué. Lui, il a eu ses idées. On a commencé en arrière avec le studio pour l'académie. Après, out of nowhere, il me dit, qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Aftercuts. Aftercuts. C'est venu, on a créé l'Instagram. on a essayé notre premier vidéo.
Mhm.
Ça a extrêmement bien passé. Et là, on a dit, OK, pourquoi est-ce qu'on n'inviterait pas la personne qui nous a comme cliqué off the cuts dans la tête? Parce que off the cuts, c'est quand on réfléchit au podcast, on n'avait pas d'idée. Mais quand on a commencé à réfléchir off the cut, c'est là que les idées sont venues. C'est comme on a commencé à faire des photos, des canevas. Ça a été un peu le déclic de toute chose. Tu comprends? Donc, maintenant, je te laisse en parler avec James, mais je vais te poser la question. Tu as dit que tu as connu James quand il travaillait au gym, right? À la réception du gym.
Mhm.
Je suppose qu'à cette époque, ta coupe elle était nulle.
Vraiment.
Ok, donc, qu'est-ce qui t'a fait en sorte que... oublie que c'est ton ami là, parce que je me rappelle le premier vidéo qu'on a fait avec l'équipe ici, son modèle l'a choqué. La seule personne, il me dit, the only person that I can call will come now. Only one person, bro. Let me call him. Et lui était stressé parce que, James, t'es où? Il est où ton modèle? Je sais pas s'il avait cherché pour vrai, no stress. Il est venu, il a appelé une personne, il dit comme, oh, je vais le chercher, j'arrive. Toi, t'étais venu ce jour-là. C'est là que j'ai connu un peu c'est qui. Donc, fait que c'est ça. Est-ce que, est-ce que selon toi, d'un point de vue barbier, amical de côté, tu le vois comment en tant que barbier, quels ont été les effets de sa coupe de cheveux sur toi durant ton cheminement jusqu'à que tu en es arrivé où tu es aujourd'hui? On va en parler tout à l'heure. Mais on veut te découvrir un peu plus. C'est qui toi, genre? T'es passé de... Comment t'es passé comme, on va dire, avant le glow-up, on va dire ça comme ça un peu?
Ok.
Comment t'es
Mon
passé de
cheminement.
ça à ça? Parce que je t'ai vu avant, là, tu vois?
Ouais, ouais.
T'étais quelqu'un, maintenant t'es quelqu'un d'autre. Mais ça fait plaisir de voir les gens intelligents évoluer dans ce monde-là.
Ouais.
Donc, fait que c'est ça, je vais te laisser en parler avec James. Je pense que vous avez beaucoup plus de choses à dire là-dessus que moi.
En fait, avant, j'avais toujours des coupes chez, tu sais, les amis à ma mère. Vous étiez bonnes. Mais, tu sais, ils coupaient souvent les cheveux plus de femmes et tout. Fait que la mode masculine, c'était pas toujours au top. Et donc, des fois, mon père aussi, il me coupait les cheveux avec son rasoir. C'était des bonnes coupes aussi, mais tu sais, très, très basiques. Et vraiment toute ma vie, jusqu'à temps que je suis allé avec James, puis je me rappelle, la première coupe, il me l'a offert gratuitement. Parce qu'encore, il était dans ses débuts. Et moi, une coupe gratuite. Ok, voilà, go, on y va. Mes cheveux sont déjà longs. Mais il a vraiment évolué. Tu sais, mes make-up aussi ont vraiment changé comparé à ce qu'ils étaient au début. Et comment ça l'a changé. Ça a vraiment aussi changé comment je me montre au public. Pour de vrai, avant, tu sais, j'avais pas vraiment l'importance de me montrer au public et avoir une image que je suis fier d'avoir n'était pas autant présente après que j'ai compris l'importance d'avoir des bonnes coupes, avoir un style, avoir une façon de parler, avoir des personnes, s'entourer des bons gens. C'est quand tu regardes vraiment tous les effets de ça, tu réalises c'est quoi être avec un bon barbier. Et tu sais, oui, on est devenus amis, mais il m'aidait aussi avec tu sais, le style, il m'aidait avec tu sais, le jewelry, quoi, que je pourrais montrer et tout. On s'est toujours aidé avec ça. Et alors, c'est ça vraiment. Même ma mère, comme j'ai dit, ma mère, elle a vu aussi les cheveux changer du début à la fin. Fait que, en termes de ça, ça a vraiment changé mon image que je me public, on va dire. Et ouais.
I pulled the dog out of him.
That's one way to say it, yeah.
He was like hibernating, and then I pulled it out of him.
Yeah.
Today I kind of want like you to explain more of like really like essentially who you are, right?
Mhm.
So what is it that you do? Like explain where you come from, and
Okay.
like a bit about your career.
Okay, well, I'm a college dropout. I guess that's a good term to say it. Well, who am I? I've always been a kid that was shy. I was always shy as a kid, right? Very, very shy. It's only until I had my first ever job at IGA cutting fish that I discovered the social aspect of myself. And that's when really what I was, let's say, exploring in my shyness, you know, being more introvert and everything, I was able to also show it to other people. I've always been someone that enjoys playing games with other people, like whether it's online or in person. I prefer in person. And that's because of my dad. He actually showed me what Dungeons and Dragons was when I was 6 or 7 years old. So that shaped a lot of how I would say when I was a kid, how I would interact with others. And what I do, well, currently I work online. What I do right now is I have game servers on games, which the biggest one that we have at the moment is in Minecraft. So we have game servers and people can join, play with other players. It's a multiplayer server where you can buy things on the website or trade in game with other people. What I do, we also do trading. When I say we, I'm talking about me and my partner Alessio, because we've been in this since we've been teens, right? When we met. So when it comes to what we do is mostly game servers, crypto trading. I would say crypto investing, but for real, it's more trading at these moments, especially with meme coins. But that's what I've been doing now for the past, I would say, 5 years. We've been in it for a minute. I also have a Minecraft YouTube channel, but I won't say the name. But I also do that, and yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at.
And so, in terms of like your career that you chose, like the domain that you're in,
Mm.
do you feel like it's worked? Do you feel like you've gotten to a point where you are happy, you're successful, you see improvement, and like you feel like your life is at a stable point, or do you feel like you still have a long way to go in that specific domain?
Well, there's definitely a lot more to grow from it, and the way I came into it really was when I was in Cégep. I was around 17, just got into Cégep. I wasn't sure which like programs to go into, and I chose industrial designing. And I stayed in that program for I would say around a year and a half, 3 sessions. And I met a lot of people. We had a lot of fun, had a lot of friends, but realizing that like I wasn't in the program for the what I was studying, but for the people happened after all my friends started like changing programs because they didn't like it. So I was like stuck by myself pretty much in the program that I was, and I was like, damn, I've been in here for the past year and a half, and I'm not sure I really want to do this. And then I got into another program, which was Sciences Humaines Psychologie, right? For
It's like the basic program, right? That
yeah,
everyone
yeah,
does?
exactly. And I was in there for one session. I didn't like it because I don't know, it wasn't that interesting to me. And then after that, the final program I got into was Gestion de Commerce. And in there, I really liked the teacher because unlike, some of the teachers I would have, he actually had his own company. He had a grass and snow remover company. So in the summer they would cut grass, and in the snow they would, well, remove the snow from the entrances. And it's only after COVID really, or during COVID, when the school were all online, that me and my friend came together and were like, hey, we've been talking about making our own Minecraft server for the past 4 years, I would say. Since high school, we've been talking about it. Why don't we do it now? We both have the time. School is online. We can work while there's school. And that's really where we started our path towards where we got to now. Yeah.
So, Danik, I'm
Yes.
gonna talk English to you so that you can really understand what I mean.
Okay.
So James gonna laugh at my English, but it's okay. I'm used to it. His friends are worse than me, so it's fine. I hope you people hear that. So I've seen you guys in Montreal, I think many times about stuff you have been doing just before being this version,
Mm-hmm.
and I was always laughing about your like crazy stories you guys been doing in Montreal. And James was was most of the time part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I can read on his face how much fun you guys was having living this kind of life. But just the thing that at this time, when there's a kind of life that was mean to him to cut hair, because he was like reaching home at 5 and come back getting like 25 clients in a Christmas day, so it was difficult. But you guys, you and Alessio, it was something else. Because one day I remember James tell me, "Oh, this makes no sense. Danik and Alessio, bro, we're in Miami. You just took a plane
Yeah.
and fly off to Miami. That's it."
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh,
So
how did it happen this day? Because I remember James was at work and say, "Oh, are you kidding? Are you in Miami?"
yeah.
Even he were not believing it.
Yeah, I was very shocked.
And
Yes.
you sent him a video. You were walking in Miami.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I think that day, I'm gonna be completely honest. There was no plans at all. Me and Alessio, we were talking about
What time
having.
was it the other day?
Oh, it was like 4 p.m. Yeah, it was early. We were talking about how we should go on a trip. We've been working a lot. We deserve one, etc., etc. And we are looking at the tickets online, and he stumbles upon one for like the same night. So he goes, "Why don't we go tonight?" And I go, "I don't. That's so true. We could go tonight."
Yeah.
So I just
You had the financial stability at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
time to take
yeah.
this kind of decision.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, "You're right. Like I don't have anything this week. Let's go." So I just went upstairs, told my dad I'm going to Miami. He's like, "Huh? When?" I'm like, "Now." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta go pack." So then I go pack. I put my things in. We meet at the airport, and we went there for a couple of days. But what I like about James, and I think it's also important to have things in common in a friendship, is that we're very spontaneous, right? I have very spontaneous friends,
Boom, boom.
and something like that is something I see happening with him too. At some point, we're just let's go there or whatever.
With the flow, like.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
He'll be mad at me if we do that.
hey, it's
Bro, you have a work, man. What
You
you
have to
mean?
work.
He have a job. Bro, the guy, he works for himself.
But yes, no,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think spontaneous things are fun. There was a night we just went to Sherbrooke for no apparent reason. We're like, yo, there's nothing to do in Montreal. Let's just go Sherbrooke. We just
That's
went.
good Sherbrooke can see some girls, like.
Hey, I didn't say that. He said it. So
He put you on the same side.
Yeah,
like,
no.
okay.
So yeah, it was just spontaneous things, are always fun, and I think, for me at least, it's important to have them time to time, because it just breaks from the normal routine that you
Yeah.
have, or whatever might be going on in your life. You do something spontaneous with your friends or loved ones, whether it's a
It's the
trip,
best thing ever.
a restaurant, or anything. It's just
Yeah.
it's super fun because it just breaks you out of the
The energy you are
regularity,
right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
And I feel like in those moments, like in Miami, yeah, we're in Miami, it was nice. It was the first time that had ever been. But it was like I was finally out of, my basement when I used to live with my parents. And I was able to like really think outside of the box in a sense. I would see,
Mm.
I would see another aspect of life because here, in Brassard, it's nice, but you see you see the same things all the time, right?
Other word.
Exactly. And over
What
there,
other
it was
word?
different. It was people, the sun outside was shining. It was beautiful. It was people were nice looking. They were always smiling, and like you could see a different mentality over there as well. So I think it's important to have at least in my experience of life, it's nice to have sometimes a break of
Was this
spontaneity.
time that you told yourself that, okay, I need to move on my own apartment?
Yeah. So yeah. So well, the decisions moving out of my parents' house.
Because, bro, don't forget, you have 23 years old, okay? You have a Minecraft server. Yeah, you trade or whatever you do. You have a company, we can say. You are,
Yeah.
maybe we can classify for some people, someone like you can be classified as successful for many people around the world. So that's it. You are 23 years old and you already moved out. I find it very, very good for someone of your age.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I have some friends back to my country. 23, bro. What was I doing at 23?
Mm.
Playing football barefoot, bro. And
Yeah.
you have a company, so that's very respectful.
Thank
So
you so
how
much.
did you, like, some people are afraid to overcome the fact that, okay, I need to go live alone
Mm.
because they want their mother to they want tea to be made like king in the morning. They want bread to be cut by themselves, by I don't know, by shadows. But how did you like tell to yourself, okay, I've been living with my parents since I'm born. So how do I get to the point that I move out, I can manage my company, I can manage my food, my life, my
Mm-hmm.
love life, relationship with friends, and if I have a car or not, how did you manage it? Like, when did you move out? 21, 22?
2023,
23?
I believe.
In which,
Yeah, 2020. No, end of 2022. End of 2022, something like that. Yeah, end of
no,
2022.
how old were you? 22.
22, 21. Yeah, something like that.
22. Yo, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So yes.
Well, how it happened was that I was often out of the house, so I would only really go back home either to record, let's say for the channel, or to sleep. But usually I was out, whether it was for working at some cafe with a laptop or to be with some friends. Like, remember when we used to just go out all the time?
No, James never went out, bro.
No,
Stop this.
okay, true. He never.
I've
Went out.
never seen James hangover in all my life.
Yeah, he's different. He doesn't get it.
I understand my limits. I'm a responsible adult. Don't get the wrong picture.
Yeah, he's perfect. But
Why always lies, bro?
but no, it was just a decision that was being built up because there was a point where I would often go to a friend's apartment in Montreal and I would sleep over there for like a month. I wouldn't sleep home for like a month, but I'd still go see my parents time to time. But in that moment of time where I kept being in Montreal downtown and just had, I had a room with him, right? He had an Airbnb downtown and we would just chill together there. We would work and everything. Well, in that period of transition is when I really realized that, okay, this is nice. Like, this is nice. I wake up when I wake up. Well, I used to as well, but it was just, you wake up when you wake up. You do what you must do during your day. You outline what you have to do, what you don't want to do, and you just go on about it. Or if you want to have a spontaneous day, you go and have one. But it was really feeling like unrestricted with what I could do. Example, with the place I was living in, right? Let's say I just wanted to blast music or whatever, I could do that. It was just feeling unrestricted from, not saying that my parents ever made me feel restricted. They really never did. I had my own, they let me sleep in the basement, the whole basement. So they would always leave me my space, right? But there's just a difference when you're really living by yourself that needs to be experienced if
It's
it's
like
not done
you may
right.
have space in your house, but
Yeah.
you need space in your head.
Yeah,
That's what
and
happens.
that's so true. That's so true.
That's what happened.
Oh yeah, that
you,
is so true.
You can even have the whole house, but you was not even thinking like the space at the whole house.
Yeah, and just to comment on that, when we first started doing what we're doing now, at first, how my parents took it, they were cool with it. They understood a bit of it, but it was only after really showing them results and what we were actually doing, what the plan was, and everything. That's when they started. Okay, this guy's serious about it, right? And when I told them I'm gonna quit Cégep, right? I expected them to be, disappointed because my mom was always a big proponent of having a diploma. It's important to have a diploma. She's Latina. I'm half Peruvian, and always telling me, you can get a good diploma in university or everything. But it was really when we started showing them the real results of what we were doing that they really believed in it. And when I told them I'm out of Cégep, I'm gonna try this for a full year. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'll come back to it. But I'm too young not to not to try this right now, not to put my energy into it. And like you said, the space in the head, there were moments sometimes, right? Let's say there was a bad month, we didn't do as much revenue. There was a bad trading days. When those would happen, sometimes they would know because my mood would change, right? And they would tell me, "Are you sure you want to do this full time? Are you sure?" And it's normal because parents, they want to make sure their kids are succeeding. And I love you guys, but it was just sometimes that's not what you want to hear. You don't want to feel reassured. You just want to feel like it's okay and like on to the next, right? On to the next risky bet.
Like they're there to support you in your
Yeah,
what
exactly.
you wanna do.
But sometimes I didn't want to hear it's okay. Like, you sure you want to continue this? You sure? I didn't want to put doubt in my mind because I felt like
It could stop you from reaching that
yeah,
potential.
that exactly, because when it comes to having a plan A or plan B, I was never really someone that would like go onto your plan B or whatever, right? I was always okay. I'm all in this, or I'm not.
No.
So when they would offer a plan B of traditional education, it would always instill these doubts of myself sometimes in my mind, without them wanting to do that. You know what I mean? Like they didn't want to put that in my mind, but they were just trying to be, conservative and smart and be good parents. Making sure that if I am allowed to have a plan B if I want to. But it definitely helped, just living by yourself or with the person I live with, which is Alessio. Well, it definitely helped, like just having that space of mind that you mentioned.
Danik, you seem to have a lot of wisdom. for a guy of 23 years old. That's what surprised me a lot with you. Because, on va pas se mentir, là, t'as 23 ans, t'as quel âge? 23 aussi. Tu viens d'avoir 23. Moi, je viens d'avoir 29. Donc, on a quand même comme 6 ans de différence. Donc, aujourd'hui, je suis là aussi avec des gars de 6 ans de différence avec moi, mais vous êtes quand même mature. On arrive à tenir des types de conversations. Peut-être lui moins. Ok. Mais, fait que c'est ça. On a vu le début de toute l'équipe de New Wave. Tout ça a grandi. Aujourd'hui, je peux dire que James est un des piliers de New Wave, si on peut dire ça comme ça. Ok, parce que c'est quelqu'un qui m'a. On va pas le mentir là. Il va se gonfler, il va éclater, il va devenir tout rouge. Mais c'est good. C'est un poulet. Il est chicken. C'est quelqu'un qui m'a jamais laissé tomber jusque maintenant. En- en- les fois qui sont pas show up, c'est pas moi qui l'ai laissé tomber, c'est lui. C'est lui-même qui l'a laissé tomber. Donc, parce qu'il était hangover. Mais s'il avait l'occasion, il ne me laisserait pas tomber. Parce que c'est le gars que j'ai appelé quand j'ai des problèmes. Il m'a tout le temps show up avec moi. Je suis passé le pont de chez lui. On est venu affronter mon voisin ensemble. La police l'a pris. Enfin, ça c'est un autre. Ça c'est du San Andreas. Ok? Donc, fait que c'est ça, Danik. C'est quoi, si je te dis une chose, dans un conseil là, que tu peux donner aux jeunes de ton âge, parce que je pense pas que tu as beaucoup d'amis de ton âge, toi. Ça, c'est un. Ok? Moi, j'ai vu des amis de ton âge qui foutent rien que leur vie, d'autres aussi qui en fait plus. Donc, ça dépend vraiment des personnes. Donc, ce serait quoi votre conseil à votre ami, ou pas, à un ami d'un autre ami, mais si vous aviez un ami demain qui a envie de progresser dans la vie, mais qui n'est pas une mauvaise personne, qui a envie de faire les bonnes choses dans la vie, qui a envie de progresser, mais qui sait qu'il y a ce petit blocage à l'intérieur de lui. Um, what would you guys have done to help him?
I mean, in generally speaking, I feel like with today's generation, it's just there's so many distractions.
Hmm.
Like whether it be social media, depending on where you live, the culture around romance could make a big difference on people's perspectives. Like
Hmm.
where we live, I feel like monogamy and romance is completely out of whack where we live, and you know that could be a conversation for another show or another
Like where
podcast.
things like body, sex is more easy to get than love and everything.
Exactly. Like people who are looking for something serious might not find it as easy
Hmm.
where we are compared to somewhere else in the world. And I feel like that like clubs, social media especially, it's all a combination of distractions, and I feel like it's so easy for especially young people to get lost in that like loop of like, okay, I go to my 9 to 5 during the week, my weekends I can go out, I'm talking to this girl, I'm talking to that girl, vice versa with the same thing. A girl could say I'm talking to this guy, I'm talking to that guy. I feel like when you're in that loop, it's kind of hard for you to take yourself out of it. Like you really need like someone as an anchor point, like to kind of guide you.
Bro,
Or
some people became a DJ just by looping their lives.
exactly. And like obviously like me, I'm grateful because I had you and like I had Danik both.
Oh.
I had both of you to like kind of essentially
beautiful.
put me in my place. And like I never, me when someone like obviously when someone tells me something, I never doubt them, or I never judge them based off of what they're telling me. I kind of take the criticism and just shut up.
This is your
Like,
big point actually. This is your like biggest point of your character. We have many things together and you know about it.
yeah,
You have like ups and downs as humans, as bobbers. But one thing I always say to you, like you have two ways of taking what I say. Like you can take it like an attack or you can use it as a strategy. Okay?
yeah,
Toi, ce que tu as fait, c'est que des fois, tu le prenais comme attaque, mais après, tu allais réfléchir comme une stratégie. Tu as ce wisdom, tu as la maturité d'aller réfléchir comme ça. Ça, c'est chapeau parce que c'est pas tout le monde qui est capable de faire ça.
yeah,
Donc, même les grands hommes de 40 ans, des fois, tu n'es pas capable de lui dire, bro, change tes souliers. Il va commencer à se péter un câble, tu comprends? Et toi, tu es capable de te parler cru, franchement. Tu comprends? Donc, c'est toujours comme ça entre nous. Même toi, maintenant, tu commences à me dire des choses comme cru dans la face. Mais c'est comme ça qu'il faut qu'on vive. Genre. Tu comprends? Si tout le monde, si tous les amis vivraient aussi franc que ça, il y aura moins d'ambiguïté, moins de barrières entre des amis,
yeah.
moins de choses caché, on va dire, moi, je dirais, moins de doutants, ses amis. He's
Yeah.
gonna be clear as crystal water, you know.
Like it's truly really hard to find genuine people and have them in your entourage. Like I've cut off a lot of people in my life, and not even for the worst of things, but it's just like you need something new to reach something new, right? Like I read this quote once. It's like you can't to have something you never had, you have to do something you never did, and like that's essentially like where I was with my mentality in terms of barbering and stuff. And like I would have never expected to be where I am today. Never expected.
Yes, to be honest with you, you never expected it. I've always known it. Je l'ai toujours su. Je l'ai toujours su, je l'ai toujours dit que tu as un potentiel enfoui en toi que peut-être toi-même tu connais pas. Et peut-être live, il sait qu'il dit qu'il connaît ce potentiel, mais il connaît pas tout son fucking potentiel. Mais il le découvre petit à petit. C'est ça qui est nice. C'est quelqu'un qui écoute, ok, qui fait beaucoup d'efforts aussi. Parce que tu as fait énormément d'efforts là depuis ce temps-là pour changer, man. C'est fou.
Yeah.
Tu es passé de quelqu'un qui avait la misère, travailler de 5 jours semaine seulement avec des rentrées tard et des rentrées tôt, à quelqu'un qui est là 6 jours sur 7 littéralement. Même le dimanche, aujourd'hui, tu es là maintenant. Parce que le dimanche, on fait des content day, tout ça. Tu comprends? Mais pour revenir à ce que tu as dit, les gens de 25 ans et plus, dans un côté, oui. Pourquoi? Parce qu'il y a certains types de personnes, comme tu dis, qui n'ont pas de responsabilité. Les personnes qui ont zéro responsabilité, zéro expérience de vie, on va dire, comme street lives, comme tu as vécu quelque chose avec des amis, je sais pas moi, tu as été pâté, tu t'es saoulé, tu as roulé tes voitures en étant sous un peu, tu comprends? Tu as fait des choses weird avec tes amis là, quand même là, tout à l'heure, des situations spontanées, tu es capable
Yeah.
d'aller t'amuser. Ça s'appelle de l'expérience de vie. Donc il y a des personnes, il y a trois types de personnes. La première personne, lui, il est avec ses parents, donc il va être bien, confortable dans la vie. À 25 ans, ses parents vont lui dire, ok, t'inquiète, te relax, tu vas trouver quelque chose. 26, 27, 28, you stuck in your job and you just stay yourself. Why does I... Pourquoi je ne prendrais pas un prêt pour acheter une maison? Il est là, là. Là, à 27 ans, tu te fixes à quelque chose, tu t'attaches à quelque chose à 27 ans, alors qu'à 27 ans, tu as beaucoup de choses. On ne va pas oublier les likes sur les créateurs d'Amazon, tu comprends? AliExpress, les gens qui n'ont pas été successful, KFC, qui n'ont pas été successful depuis le début. Et je vais prendre un peu de moi aussi, tu vois. Parce que je suis venu ici à 25 ans, il ne faut pas l'oublier, ça fait 3 ans que je suis au Canada. Je suis venu ici à 25 ans, j'ai tout vendu. Je n'avais même pas de savate, je pense, si je ne me trompe pas. Donc, tout ce que j'avais, c'est une expérience de vie tellement folle. J'ai fait 18 ans, j'ai dit à ma mère, ok, I'm going to France tomorrow. Il me dit, t'es fou? Je me dis, ouais, je rigole pas, voici mon billet. Il me dit, hein? J'ai tout plaqué de l'armée pour aller en France. Donc, l'expérience de vie en France, je suis retourné, je suis allé à Dubaï, je suis retourné, je suis allé à l'île de la Réunion. Donc, pour moi, je classifiais ça à cette époque comme je réussissais pas. J'ai échoué à chaque fois pour moi. Donc, 18 ans, j'étais en France, bac 20 ans, échoué. 21 ans à Dubaï, bac 22, 23, échoué. Donc là, 23, l'île de la Réunion, bac Maurice, 24, échoué. Donc là, j'ai déjà commencé à appliquer pour le Canada et tout. Je rentre au Canada à 25 ans, je comprends rien à ce qui se passe. Je comprends rien à ce qui se passe. Pourquoi les gens ils sont aussi comme ça? Pourquoi il y a des gars de 21 ans qui ont des grosses compagnies, man? C'est quoi la différence de mentalité? C'est quoi que vous avez différent de nous? C'est juste le why. C'est juste que les opportunités ici sont tellement immenses. Tu vois? C'est quelque chose de normal là. Chez moi, je ne verrai pas les opportunités. Mais si un Bangladesh il vient chez moi, quelqu'un que mon argent pour lui a plus de valeur, qui est mon pays plus avancé que le sien, donc il va venir chez moi, pour lui c'est une grosse opportunité. Tu comprends? C'est la même affaire pour nous quand on vient ici. Donc les locaux, des fois, ils voient qu'il n'y a pas tellement d'opportunités. Mais moi, comment je vois ça, c'est une océan d'opportunités. Il y a beaucoup de gens aussi qui partagent cet avis. C'est pour ça que les gens, 23 ans comme vous, sont capables de... les gens comme vous sont capables de vous démarquer. Tu vois? Check James, 21 ans, t'es élite, tu charges combien, James, pour une coupe?
Avec barbe 35, c'est un barbe 30.
35-30. Donc on parle des 35 $ aux 30 minutes, là. Tu comprends? Donc ça fait quand même du 170 $ à l'heure. Donc si on regarde ça, il n'y a aucune personne dans le monde qui a ce paye-là. Pas dans le monde, mais proche de notre monde à nous. Tu comprends?
Ouais.
Est-ce que pour toi, c'est quelque chose que tu es capable de gérer ou pas? Est-ce que c'est quelque chose qui te fait plaisir de faire autant d'argent? Pas autant d'argent parce qu'on ne fait pas millionnaire, là. Tu comprends? Tu es still en train de grandir, je suppose. Grandir ta own business à l'intérieur de New Wave, grandir avec nous. Mais how do you qualify at the amount of money you were making back when just started, and when? Are you able more to manage your money? How is
I
it?
I think it's such a diverse topic when it comes to how you are with your money,
Hmm?
because essentially it's like someone who lives in a place more calm, let's say. Like let's say you go to, I don't know, you go to Ottawa, right?
Hmm.
There's no clubs in Ottawa.
Hmm.
Like there's just some bars, and there's maybe one club, but there's not much to do in Ottawa. So like if you start to make a lot of money in Ottawa, like yes, you'll find things to do, but it'll be a bit harder for you to spend your money on things
Hmm.
that are fun. So you'll
Yeah, I
spend it
felt
most
that.
likely on like, I don't know, you go hiking or you go to the zoo, like
Yeah.
something more responsible, we could say, right? And I think I think from where I was, like I was making minimum wage, right? And back then minimum was like $13 an hour, I
Hmm.
think, which is nothing. And to now, because of where we live and the people that I was around before, during that time, my concept of what money was kind of gone. So it was just coming in and it would go out just as fast, right? Because like I essentially had no responsibility and everything kind of rushed fast. Like I kind of in a sense blew up, right? Like I was getting clients from left and right, like, but as well, it wasn't just a given, right? Like I would go out, I would always tell people, hey, I'll give you a free haircut.
You are self-branding yourself.
Exactly. Like every time I would go out, yes, I would be having fun. Yes, I would spend money, but at the same time, I would always any person that I saw with potential for a nice haircut,
I remember there
I
was
would be
someone
like,
like waiting
hey,
for the
I want to give you
nightclub.
a free haircut. Like you should come see me. Like I would do whatever it takes to try and get that person in the door. Like offer them a haircut. If they say, "Oh, it's a little far," well, okay, well, I'll give it to you for free. Like, or I'll, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And essentially, to each their own. But my concept of what money was kind of lost. Now it's a lot better, because there's things that I want to obtain, like opening up a shop, like more responsibility in a sense. But when you're in that phase of where you kind of don't know what to do with the money, you kind of lose a sense of what money is,
Hmm.
and then like you kind of spend it irresponsibly, right?
Yeah.
And like I'll pass the mic to Danik because I know he has some similarities to that from when he was starting to be
Oh yeah,
get
we blew
successful.
money, bro. We blew money. Like the first, our first, let's say, good year. We meet with the accountants. They tell us this is how much we made, and we look at each other like, where did it go?
Yeah,
We had like 20% of that amount in the account, and we're like, where did it go? And it was chalets, it was bottles, it was $1,000 sneakers, it was clothes, it was spending on loved ones, which that's good, but it was gone, and I was like, wow. But it really took a hit when we really saw it, because in the moment we weren't thinking, we were just spending, spending, spending. But yeah, I think it's something that you come to once you have the experience. And my parents would always tell me, my dad especially, he always gives me advice, and he's always right. But I only come to the same conclusion after I go through it. And he's
Hmm.
like, ah, I'm like, yeah,
I told you.
yeah, exactly,
The classic.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, but it's something it's good to experience. I think anything that is experienceable is good, in my opinion, whether bad or good. But just for that example, I really think it's something that must be experienced to truly understand the worth of money and what you do.